Hey there, Cowboys Nation! Welcome back to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for everything related to America's team. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just starting to catch the Cowboys fever, this channel has everything you need to stay up to date with your favorite team. If you're a die-hard fan, be sure to hit that subscribe button for all the latest news and updates on the Cowboys. There's a storm brewing in the NFL, and it's not your typical on-field clash of the Titans. This storm centers around one of the most dynamic and electrifying players in the league today, Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys star edge rusher. Parsons isn't just shaking things up on the field with his ferocious style of play, but now he's looking to make major waves in the business side of football. How? Well, it's all about his next contract extension, and if you've been paying attention, you know it's going to be a big one. In fact, Micah Parsons is reportedly eyeing a record-breaking $200 million extension, which could make him one of the highest-paid players in NFL history. That's right, we could be talking about one of the biggest paydays ever for a non-quarterback. But let's take a closer look at what this means, not just for Micah Parsons, but also for the Dallas Cowboys and the entire NFL. Let's set the stage here. The Dallas Cowboys are no strangers to big money contracts. Jerry Jones, the owner, has never been shy about paying his star players what they're worth, and when it comes to Parsons, we're talking about a deal that could very well change how we view the value of defensive players in the NFL, particularly edge rushers. We're talking about a contract that could redefine how valuable these kinds of game-changing players are to a team's success. A $200 million deal would not only break the bank but could also set a new standard for how teams approach building defenses in an era where offenses are king. But why is Parsons asking for such a jaw-dropping amount? What makes him worth such a hefty price tag? Well, to put it simply, Micah Parsons isn't just any player. Since entering the league, Parsons has been on a mission to prove himself as one of the best edge rushers in the game, and the stats back it up. His combination of speed, power, and intelligence on the field has made him a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks and offensive lines. At just 25 years old, Parsons has already earned 2 Pro Bowl selections and established himself as one of the most dominant defenders in the NFL. To say he's earned the right to request a historic contract would be an understatement. The truth is, Parsons is changing the game, and he knows it. So let's talk numbers. Over the past 4 seasons, Parsons has been a terror on the field, posting at least 12 sacks in every season so far. That totals 52.5 sacks in 63 games, which is absolutely elite. In fact, last season, he posted 12 sacks in just 13 games. That's right, 12 sacks in just 13 games. You don't need to be a football expert to know that kind of production is absolutely game-changing. And while sacks are the headline stats, it's also about his ability to disrupt plays, his versatility in rushing the passer, and his ability to generate pressure from anywhere on the field. The numbers alone make it clear why Parsons deserves a massive payday. But it's not just about the stats, it's about the impact he's had on his team's defense. But why is this conversation so important right now? It's because we're seeing the rise of elite defensive players becoming more and more valuable in today's NFL. For years, the league has been a quarterback-driven sport, with offenses ruling the day. But now we're seeing a shift. Defensive stars like Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and of course, Micah Parsons, have proven that game-changing defenders are just as crucial to a team's success as elite quarterbacks. Parsons, in particular, has the ability to flip the script on any given play. He can turn a game around with a single sack, forced fumble, or a pressure that leads to an interception. And let's not forget he's just getting started. At 25, Parsons is already one of the most feared defensive players in the league, and his best years are likely ahead of him. So, when we talk about a $200 million deal for Parsons, it's not just about his ability to rush the passer. It's about the long-term value he brings to the Dallas Cowboys. As the NFL continues to evolve, teams are placing more emphasis on building solid defenses, especially with the rise of high-powered offenses. But unlike other defensive stars, Parsons has a unique ability to be a complete game changer. He can stop the run, rush the passer, cover in space, and make an impact on every single down. With offenses getting faster and more potent, a player like Parsons could be the key to keeping teams in check. However, the road to getting this contract done won't be an easy one. The Cowboys have already had some initial discussions with Parsons' agent, David Mulugheta, at the NFL Combine. But after those early talks, there's been radio silence on further negotiations. And while we don't know the exact reason for the delay, we can all take a guess it's simple: the price is going up. As more elite players sign massive deals, the bar for what Parsons can command continues to rise. This offseason alone, we've seen some record-breaking contracts handed out, and each one only adds to the pressure on the Cowboys to strike a deal before they lose any more leverage. Let's take a look at some of the big contracts signed this offseason, which have set a new precedent for NFL players. First, we saw the Las Vegas Raiders extend Maxx Crosby with a 3-year, $106.5 million deal, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback at the time. Crosby had established himself as one of the top edge rushers in the league, and his contract reflected that. But Crosby's record didn't last long. Next, we saw Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns come in with a 4-year, $160 million deal, once again raising the bar for defensive players. Garrett's deal made him the highest-paid non-quarterback in league history, but that record didn't last long either. Just after Garrett, we saw wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals set a new mark with a $161 million deal. So, where does that leave Micah Parsons? Well, with each new record, his asking price continues to grow. It's inevitable. The question is not whether Parsons will break those records, it's by how much. Will his deal exceed $160 million? Or will we see an even more monumental contract that shatters all previous marks? If the Cowboys wait too long to lock Parsons in, the price tag could get even higher. But there's one more thing to consider: Parsons is only 25 years old. Let's take a look at Myles Garrett for a second. Garrett is currently 29, which means he's already on the back end of his prime. Parsons, on the other hand, is still entering his prime years. The younger a player is, the more value they bring, and Parsons has already proven that he's a cornerstone player for the Cowboys. He's not just a pass rusher, he's the future of the Cowboys defense. If the Cowboys wait too long, they could end up paying a premium for a player they could have locked down for less earlier. While there's no certainty about whether Parsons will hold out for a contract extension, the fact remains that the longer the Cowboys wait, the higher the price tag will climb. And that's a gamble the team can't afford to take. They already extended Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb last offseason, and both of those deals were massive. But Parsons' deal will likely dwarf those contracts in terms of both dollar value and impact on the Cowboys' future. If the Cowboys want to secure one of the best defensive players in the league for the long haul, they need to make a move sooner rather than later. So, what happens next? Will the Cowboys be able to lock Parsons down before the price tag becomes even more outrageous? Or will they risk letting this deal drag on, potentially losing leverage in the process? One thing is for sure, Micah Parsons is in a position to make history with his next contract. It could be the biggest deal ever handed out to a non-quarterback, and it will have long-lasting implications for how NFL teams structure their rosters and their finances moving forward. As we head into another exciting NFL season, the spotlight will be on the Cowboys and their next move. Everything in Texas is bigger, they say, especially the contracts. And when it comes to Micah Parsons, that statement couldn't be more true. The Cowboys have a big decision ahead of them. Will they pay up and secure Parsons for the future? Or will they wait, hoping the price tag doesn't skyrocket? Either way, one thing is clear: Parsons is set to cash in, and the Cowboys better be ready. So, what do you think? Should the Cowboys make Parsons the highest paid non quarterback in NFL history? Or is it too risky to break the bank for a defensive player? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay up to date on all things NFL, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This saga is just getting started, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more updates on this and other breaking sports news.